Welcome, amazing agents and investors from across the country. Today is Wednesday, September 4th, 2019, and this is Roleplay call number 46. We've got a few new, when you called in, you probably heard these calls are now not in living color, but they're in HD, which we'll see if that really makes a difference. But I can no longer see your phone number, so I'm going to call on you by your caller ID says your location. Right now we have one person in the queue from Grand Prairie, Texas, and actually it looks like the other person dropped out of the queue, by the way, so don't be shy, guys. Hit *6 and hit 1. And Kat is telling me when I hit the person from Grand Prairie, it'll tell me their phone number, so we'll find out. Chad, anything you want to say before we get started?
No, I don't think so. I mean, if this is your first role play call, something we always try to discuss ground rules. So if you have questions about marketing or direct mail or, specific scenarios that would normally we cover those on the mastermind calls. So this is about sales language, and it's about what's working and what's not working. So if you have language that, if you've gotten on the phones and you found something to be really effective that you haven't heard us talk about, please step up and share that. If you got on the phones and you got shut down, you're hearing objections that you're not handling effectively, bring those up. Let's talk about those. But so it's the positive or the negative. The more we can share with each other, the more we all learn. And then
Perfect.
These calls are all archived. We archive them in several places on our Facebook group, which is All the Leads Mastermind. They're posted in there after the calls. We have them on our YouTube channel, and then also in the main menu of our site under Education and Training, we have a conference call video archive. And Kat does an incredible job of basically breaking these apart and time stamping them, so you can very quickly jump to using the link in the description. You can very quickly jump to each of the topics or subjects that were role played. So if you haven't seen the Role Play archive, there are 45 hours that you haven't heard. Go check that out, and this one will be there later today.
And I can never say enough. I bet every day we get several calls from people or emails. Where do I find this? Where do I find that? If you forget everything that Chad just said, I think we have the most robust search bar I have ever seen. You can just go to alltheleads.com. In the upper right-hand corner, you can put almost anything in that search bar. It's kind of like Google. You might have to play around with it a bit, but you can put in there making the first call, calling attorneys. You could put in, I've got it all handled, objection. Put virtually anything in there, and the calls where we covered that will come right up. So you don't have to spend hours searching through there. We try to make it as easy as possible for you. So please take advantage of that. It's really, really easy to use. And having said all that, we got up to an hour. We only have one person in the queue. We've got 60 people on the call. So if I could pick a little bit, I see an old friend of mine, Elmer Delgado in California. Elmer, I know you're a master at getting on the phone. So if you're not too shy, hit *6 and hit 1. We'd love to have the benefit. We've got a lot of seasoned pros on the call, so feel free to jump in. For now, let's go to our first and only caller from Grand Prairie, Texas. You're up first. Phone number ending in 2261.
Right. My name's Wendall. I'm actually from Allen, Texas. I don't know how it got Grand Prairie.
That's your caller ID. Yeah, your caller ID says that. It must be out of there, yeah.
Okay. Anyway, yesterday was my first time to actually try calling, the probate families, and I got shut down a couple of times before I even got my USP finished. I was told, hold up. They just, one lady says, I have an attorney, and she hung up right then. I didn't get to say another word.
Okay. And what other kinds of objections are you getting? Why don't we start from the top, and you can hit Chad with you said it happened several times, so hit them with one at a time.
Well, just a couple of times, and I said, I'm going to wait for this program and get some more tips on what it was.
Okay.
Doing.
All right, put the pressure on Chad. Call Chad.
Okay.
Ring.
Ring.
Actually, I'm calling you, right? Because you're doing outbound calling.
Oh, duh. I'm so used to that from the last couple calls. Yes, Chad, call him. His name is
Ring,
Wendell.
ring,
Oh, okay.
ring, ring.
Uh, yeah, hello.
Hi, I'm trying to reach Wendell.
Yeah, this is he.
Hey, Wendell, my name's Chad. You might recognize my name. I sent you a letter last week, and I had a little bit of time to follow up and just wanted to make sure you got it and you understood why we sent it. You
Well, you
recall
know,
seeing that?
I don't need anything. I've got an attorney,
Okay.
and
Um,
you know, my wife died 4 years ago, and I just don't need anything right now.
okay. Well, we work with a lot of, obviously you have figured out, I mean, we're calling to, we noticed you were in probate, and we have a team that kind of picks up where attorneys leave off. So the attorneys are part of our team. We're not trying to unseat them. We're trying to include a service in addition to what they provide for you. So 75% of the responsibility is on your shoulders, not the attorneys. And we help with that. We don't have anything to do with the legal aspects. That's why we have the attorneys on our team. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I guess so.
So, I mean, it sounds like you're kind of frustrated. You must have heard from some other people that you didn't find much value in what they had to talk about. Am I right?
Oh, my phone's ringing off the wall.
Right. So this conversation is going to go a little differently if you don't hang up on me. We're really reaching out just to better understand your situation. We have a team of 24 people here in Texas that actually have dealt with families in your community. And sometimes that's, it involves real estate, sometimes personal property, sometimes, social workers and social programs or CPAs. We show you how to save taxes, avoid probate again. There's a lot of different things. It really starts with us understanding, the people in the situation, and then we know how we can help and who we need to bring into the conversation. So is there really anything that like you really don't feel like you need any help, or you were just really frustrated and trying to get me off the phone?
Yeah, I've gotten too many of these calls.
Yeah. So if there was one thing that you could make Chad's problem instead of Wendell's problem today, what would that be?
I'm not wanting to sell my house. I want to live in the house.
Fair enough. And that's like I said, there's dozens of things that we can help with. I'm just trying to understand your situation. So we don't have to talk about real estate. Is one of the things that a lot of families that we work with end up doing is making sure they set up a proper estate plan so the next generation doesn't have to go through this. The frustration you're feeling, the phone calls you're getting, like whoever is handling your estate won't have to deal with that. And we can give you an opportunity for free to sit down with our team and find out what those options look like, how much it costs, and if it's a good fit for you. Is that something you'd like me to set up?
Never even heard of that.
So if you don't know already, you're about to find out the typical estate in the United States eats up the probate process eats up about 5% of the gross value of the estate. In Texas, we can set up living trusts for most families between $1,500 and $2,000. So not only is it super stressful and you have to deal with guys like me calling you, you also pay a lot more for it to be part of that frustrating process. So even if you think there's nothing I can do to help, the one thing that I know that I can do to help you in the future, help your family, preserve your wealth and your legacy, is to make sure you have a proper plan in place so you guys never have to go through this again. And I, quite frankly, don't get paid for that. It's part of the service we offer. If you'd like me to set it up, I'll have Jake give you a call later today to find a time that works for both of you.
Okay. Well, that'd be helpful. Thank you.
Okay. His name is Jake Smith. And again, like if there's anything else, even like you think this guy could never help me with this, chances are I've done it before. We've helped families deal with just about everything that can come up. So if that's getting a new lawn care person, if that's getting someone to power wash the house, if it means refinancing because interest rates just dropped to 3.25%, we can, if you have debt on the house, we can help you with that and show you how to save money, how to structure assets. even if, I don't know if it's a concern for you if, a lot of families don't have a long-term care plan. So they end up being forced to sell their real estate property. So Medicaid will actually pick up a bill for a nursing home, and then when they get released, they have nowhere to go because they had to sell their house. And we can help you strategically plan for things like that, just based on our experience. So if there's ever anything that comes up that you feel like, you don't know who could help you, we're probably the right fit. So be sure and hang on to that letter.
Okay, well, thank you.
All right, and we'll break there. So obviously there was no real estate, and that's something that, again, we don't usually role play that one that often, so I'm glad you took it there. Even if there's not real estate, I'm gonna keep pressure on you because there's certain things I know you should be doing to help yourself. And I can create an A+ referral for my CPA, my estate planning attorney. What's going to happen is I'm going to call Jake Smith, the estate planning attorney that I want to impress the most. And because he's not allowed to directly solicit you, I'm going to hand you as an A+ referral to him and say, please call this gentleman in the next 15 minutes. And he'll take it from there. But he'll remember that I gave him that referral. So even though you don't have real estate, I spent some time on the phone with you because I'll indirectly monetize that multiple times over the rest of my career because Jake will realize I'm the only one doing that for him, or one of the very few people doing that for him. And I do believe that it's in your best interest to, have what we discussed. So I'm glad we had the opportunity to role play that here. We do it in Mastery, but I don't know that we've ever, if we've done the no real estate one much at all.
I do have a question, if it's okay.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't really know any attorneys right now. Now, I have the attorneys, that came with the probate families. Would it be good to call them, or what's the best way to find an attorney to refer people to?
What I'm proposing is you take a phone call that most people would hang up on and be like, okay, thanks for taking my call. And you turn that into an A+ referral. So now you have a reason. You can open the door with value to any of those attorneys on that list. If you pick up the phone and say, I'm trying to reach John Doe, I have a direct referral that needs to be called in the next 30 minutes. Is John available? Then you're going to have their ear. And if you say, John, listen, we haven't met yet, I look forward to it. We help a lot of families in probate. I just spoke with Wendall Smith. He actually doesn't really need much help other than he needs to have an estate plan so his family doesn't have to go through this again. I've shared your information with him, but could you give him a call in the next 20 minutes, 30 minutes? And by the way, is there anything else, and then you can start, as the conversation develops, you can explain a little bit more about what you do and how your business complements their business. And when they see that you're offering this kind of a service, and they're going to realize you did this without making money. You're not asking for a referral. You're not getting a commission because they're not selling anything, and you gave them. Now, the one thing to be aware of is if there is a probate attorney on the case, then that probate attorney is probably a family law attorney. And if you don't know that person, you may, talk to them and say, listen, I just spoke to Wendall, and we talked about X, Y, and Z, and I think he needs an estate plan. I just wanted to make sure that you and your team knew that, and you make sure you talk to him about it. You may be referring him to his own attorney, but it still gives you a reason to have that conversation and build that relationship.
Okay.
Does that help, Wendell?
Yes, it did. It did. With the one that hung up on me, it wouldn't have done anybody any good, but with the other one, it would have helped.
Well, Wendell, I was going to say, we don't have anyone else in the queue, guys. Please don't be shy. Hit *6 and hit *6 and then hit 1. But Wendell, why don't you call back, and this time you've got real estate, but give them the I've already got an attorney objection, and be like you're going to hang up real quick.
I think he's saying he's getting it in the first few seconds of the call.
Right. Okay. So, but even in the first few seconds, what I was going to say, Chad, possibly you could role play the, I don't need help, I've got an attorney, and you could try the insurance or try some of the other quick answers to get their attention. No?
Sure, we can. I mean, if that Wendell is that, I'll let
are
you
you
drive.
running
I'll
into
do
that,
whatever you guys
Wendell?
want.
Are they hanging up on
Well,
you instantly, or are they giving you an excuse?
well, I've only made 2 calls. Just to be honest,
Okay.
I've only made 2 calls, and I waited for today because I wanted to learn more before I used up all of my my potential clients, and I wanted to get better at this.
Yeah, I was just suggesting, Chad, since we don't have anyone else in the queue, why don't you do it that he's just giving you an excuse like my attorney's handling everything. And that would be a slightly different version of what he's talking about.
Yeah, sure. We can take an undercut at it. You ready, Wendell?
So this time, just tell him, Wendell. Tell him this time, my attorney's handling everything.
Okay.
Ring, ring.
Hello.
Hi, I'm trying to reach Wendell.
This is Wendell.
Hey, Wendell, my name's Chad Corbett. I sent you a letter last week. My main name might be familiar. But I had a little time today. I just wanted to follow up and touch base to make sure you got it and you understood why we sent it. Did you get a chance to open that last week?
Oh, no. My attorney's handling everything for me. My wife died several years ago, and we're just, I don't need anybody but my attorney.
Sure, and that's what 9 out of 10 of our best clients tell us because they don't fully understand why we're calling. That's what I said. I want to make sure you understood why we sent the letter. So your attorney is essentially on our team and part of our service. They handle the legal aspects, and we handle everything that's non-legal. We help you handle everything that's non-legal. And for some families, that means we do it all and you don't lift a finger. And for other families, they want to be more involved or things just don't seem that stressful for them. So, really where it starts for us is touching base, making sure that, you do understand everything that you're tasked with, and to see if there's any of that you'd like to delegate to us or, have our team do for you or to help you with. So is there anything you can think of that you don't?
What did my attorney tell me about you?
Well, we know we work with a lot of probate attorneys in town. I haven't, your attorney is Jane Smith. We actually haven't met her, but what I was saying is we consider all attorneys, all probate attorneys as part of our team. They handle the legal function on each case. So they're already handling the legal function on your case. So if you say, Chad, I need help with this, then we're going to immediately start communicating with Jane about your case and let her know, here's what's happening with the personal inventory, here's what's happening with the estate sale. So we'll communicate directly with her, just like she's a member of our team now, even though we haven't worked together yet. Does that make sense?
Yeah, okay. I didn't understand.
So essentially all the things, because Jane is extremely busy. I see right here she's handling six new probate cases just this month. And the fact that it takes about 6 months in Texas to close a probate, that's a quick timeline. Chances are she's working on 3 to 5 dozen files right now. So anything we can do to help you, that takes, that she can essentially delegate that to us where we can provide a service to you that's non-legal. That's what we do. And sometimes that means we help the family sell homes, and sometimes that means we do it in a week. Sometimes it means we completely renovate the house and squeeze every penny out of it that we possibly can. We help, find suitable housing for other family members, surviving spouses. We even help people, get into rentals, like sell their property, get into a rental property, and then reinvest the equity into a safe, kind of a safe investment vehicle, such as, annuities, bonds, things like that. So it really is about us understanding the people, and then once we understand you and your situation and your goals, then we know how we can help. So it's really just a short conversation. If you want, we could sit down. I've got about an hour, 90 minutes on Friday after 3 o'clock. If that would work, we could sit down, have a quick talk, and go from there. Does Friday at 3 work for you?
Well, no, I have a doctor's appointment. I fell the other day, and I'm going to have to go to the doctor Friday.
Okay. Well, we meet with folks on
I'm
Monday
getting
as
old,
well.
and I'm beginning to fall,
Yeah, I think it happens to all of us. So I won't. Monday is the other day that we try to meet with folks. I've got a 9:30 a.m. Would that be a better time?
Yeah, that worked. Monday will work.
Okay. We try to, do as much homework as we can before we get there, so we're not, we can be efficient. And I didn't ask. I mean, about the real estate is the biggest challenge that most families face. And I would say, 5% of families are keeping the real estate, not making any changes, and the majority usually end up selling. So, do you have plans for the real estate in the estate? Is that something that I need to be prepared to help you with?
Yeah, I think I need to go to an assisted living, so yeah, I'll probably need to sell the house.
Okay. And have you chosen a facility? Do you have one in mind?
No, I haven't even started looking.
Okay. Well, that's something else. So we're familiar with each of the facilities and what their cost is in the area. So I'll be prepared to talk to you about both things, like what your options are for getting the home sold, as well as what your next options are. And I don't know if you have families with trucks and trailers, but we even have, specialized moving companies that can help you downsize. We can sell whatever personal property you don't want to take to the assisted living, and then we can help move what you do want to take. We'll make sure that gets over to the facility, and we'll introduce you directly to the right people. So what would take most people in your situation? Sure. And what takes most people in your situation months and months to put together, we can probably handle before the end of next week. We could have a solid plan in place and things moving forward, if you're in, if you want it to happen that quickly. Let me ask you this one, though. Is it more important to you? What's most important to you? Is it getting this done in as quickly as possible, or would it be getting at every penny that we possibly could out of the property, so we can generate more equity to pay for the future? Which would you say is most important?
Those assisted living places are expensive. I need all the money I can get.
They are. And is this a move you're looking to make in the next 3 months, 6 months, this week?
Oh, I got to see what the doctor tells me Friday. I would like to put it off as long as I can.
I understand. And the reason I ask, and most people, understandably, most people have the same opinion. If you told me, Chad, I have 13 months, then I would say, Wendall, we should quit claim your property to whomever you want to inherit your estate right now. And even in that, so this is hypothetical. I don't know if it suits your needs right now or not. But just so you can understand how flexible and creative we can be for you, if you had 13 months to wait and you didn't have a lot of other assets, if most of your equity is most of your net worth is in your home, like most Americans, we can quit claim the home over to a family member, so there won't be any transfer taxes. And we could even roll it into a trust, like a land trust, and so for some anonymity. But we can roll the asset over, and then in 12 months you can apply for Medicaid, and when they look, they'll see you have X number of dollars in your bank account and no other assets. Your heirs have already inherited your property, and you retain a lifetime estate. Now, if you need access to the equity in the property that you quit claimed over, you could sell it to your heirs, or you could simply have them refinance it and then give you access to that equity. Now, obviously, we need to make sure you're protected, and that you have some control there. But that's just one of the creative ways that I can think of that we can, rather than liquidating your house and giving everything to the nursing home, if you have time, we can actually show you a way to, get rid of it and access the equity in that. So there's a lot of, what I'm trying to show you is there's a lot of different things we can do. And I don't think there's anyone else anywhere in the area that's nearly equipped as we are to offer these kind of options. So those are the things that I'd like to talk about when we meet on Monday. And I didn't ask, do you feel like there's anyone else that should be part of these conversations? Anyone else from the family?
Well, my son, he's in the Army. He's in Germany. But we could, well, I had to talk with him first, but maybe we can talk to him on Skype.
So he's 12 hours ahead?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, that may work. I
He's
mean, that will be
stationed in Germany.
9:30. So if it would be 9:30 p.m. for him, we can easily. I'm sure he will probably still be up at that hour. What do you think?
Well, I could text him and find out.
Hey, Chad, I don't mean to interrupt. The queue filled up while we were talking. I think you got the listing. What do you think? What do you think, Wendell?
I'll get it on
Yeah,
Monday.
yeah.
All
He'll
right.
get it on Monday.
Hey, Wendell, and forgive me for interrupting. I just want to make sure we get to everybody. The thing I was going for, Wendell, also was if you got somebody who just said my attorney's got it handled and they're just about ready to hang up, a real quick response would be that we've gone over many times, but you're a new subscriber, you may not have heard it, is just, oh, your attorney's got it handled, so he's already switched your insurance, right? And just shut up. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, go there and listen to it. Most of the people, if the property's been empty for a month, their insurance probably does not cover vacant property, and I'm sure, and guarantee you their attorney hasn't told them that. So that's a real quick way to get somebody engaged in the conversation you just had with Chad, right off the bat. If you can listen to that, just go in and put, how would you look that up in the search bar? Vacant property?
If you just search vacant property, it should bring up several conversations.
Yep. Well, thank you for taking us through the first half hour, Wendell. I hope that helps, and please come back and let us know how you're doing.
Okay, thank you.
All right. Next up is phone number ending in 5528. You're up next.
Hey, guys, can you hear me?
Hear you
Yes,
well.
sir.
Hey, this is Justin Bridges calling. Called a few weeks ago, wanted to go over my script again. I think, Chad, I remember you telling me that throw away the script, so here I am again.
I think I said put that damn script in the trash can, to be more
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So have you been on the phone since then?
Yes, I've been on the phone and actually started mailing out to some leads. I haven't went through you guys yet. I'm actually just printing off some letters and, getting it going that way until I actually get some capital to actually reinvest into this business.
Sure. And what have your results been on the phones?
I haven't got an appointment set yet. I think I've made about 20 calls since then. I've had people interested in what I do. I actually have a guy who wants to get some of my brochures and give them to he has a senior group in his church, and he's looking to let them know about some of the service that we can help them with. So I guess I should ask, what advice would you be able to give me as far as giving him my brochures and letting him talk to the senior group at his church?
So there is no better brochure than you, brother. Like,
Exactly.
you need to go visit that group.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking as well.
So, at this level, this is a pretty intimate service that we're offering. This is something, it's very stressful and a private, scenario. It's planning for the end of your own life isn't really a comfortable thing. So a brochure may be effective, but you actually being there to look them in the eye and show compassion and answer their questions is going to go 1,000 times further. And I think that's a great idea. That would be, I'm betting that's out of your comfort zone, right?
It's very out of my comfort zone, actually.
Yeah, and that's where growth happens and where money's made and opportunities found. Set that appointment.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's coming up on Thursday, so I'll give him a call and see if we can get it going then.
Yeah, and I would reconnect and, to role play it, I would say, we spoke last week, and as I was working with my designer, my printer, I thought, what's better than printed shiny flyers is if I'm actually there to help you guys directly. So yeah, I'm sort of inviting myself here, but would it be possible for me to attend the senior group next Thursday? Oh, great. I can't wait. I've never actually been to one of these meetings. What should I expect? And roll into the conversation and get as much information as you can about what you might need to be prepared for.
Okay.
And you may even say, if the format is people normally come in and speak to the group, then step up and throw your hat in the ring to be a speaker for the next meeting and come in and speak about your service, just like you would talk about it to a probate attorney. and say, actually, here's my story. Here's why I'm doing this. Here's what, we offer a broad scope of service to people in end-of-life transition, in transitional periods. Sometimes that means probate. Sometimes it means a trust situation. Sometimes it means, people are entering that end-of-life phase and they want to know that they have a solid plan in place. And we focus on the people in the situation, and then we figure out which team members to bring in and that can serve you the best. So who's the bravest one in the room who can raise their hand and tell me the number one thing they're most intimidated by and they've been procrastinating about dealing with?
Brilliant.
And interact with the crowd and get them to start, peel back the layers, make them feel comfortable. But if you can get one person to raise their hand and say, well, I really, the average savings of senior citizens in the United States right now is just under $28,000. So these people are thinking about this. They're worried about this, and they should be. So if someone raises their hand and says, we don't have money to pay if we get sick, we can't take care of the property that we live in, we can't afford to go to a nursing home, and then they start to draw you a roadmap. Well, okay, so let's talk about the property. Do you have equity in it? And you're on stage being a consultant to a group, but you're going to blow the socks off of every senior citizen in that room. It's a phenomenal opportunity.
Okay. I'll definitely take your advice on that then.
All right, keep coming back. Let us know how you're doing, John. Thank you.
Yeah, I would like to do my role play.
Or Terry, you're Terry. I'm sorry, John's up next.
Yeah,
Terry.
Justin, right?
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
You
right.
said you
so
wanted
Justin,
to
do you want to call me again, or would you like me to call you?
Yep, I'll call you again.
All right,
Ring.
let's jump in. Hello, it's Chad.
Hey, Chad, this is Justin calling. No, I'm calling you out the blue here. Had a few moments at my desk. Wanted to see if you received a letter that I sent you a few weeks ago, and if you understand why I sent it. Do you remember seeing that?
Justin, my chocolate lab is shedding like crazy, and I have more letters than I do lab hair. I have no idea who you are or what letter it was. There's a pile on the coffee table.
Okay, Chad, that's no problem. Just wanted to see if you had a minute so we could talk about a few things that I'll be able to provide you.
Sure.
You have a minute?
I have 2 minutes. That's it.
Great. Well, like I said, I'm Justin Bridges. I specialize in probate, but I also have a team here of professionals that specialize.
So you're an attorney, Justin? We already have an attorney, Justin.
No, sir. Not an attorney. I pick up where the attorney leaves off. So that being said, I have staff in the courthouse quite often, and that's how we came across your contact information. Me being the head of that team, I thought that it would be best to go ahead and reach out to you and let you know about some of the services that we provide. That being said, we have a wide variety of resources, meaning that we have probate attorneys, real estate agents, estate sale companies if you're looking to liquidate some of the personal property. But really it starts off with understanding what the family's goals are. That being said, what is the biggest challenge for you so far?
Opening all this damn mail. I mean, honestly, getting started has been the hardest part. My sister's and she lives in Seattle and travels for business 3 or 4 days a week. She feels like she needs to be here before we get started, and we've gotten an inventory to the court, but we haven't really done anything. So I now understand why these things take 9 to 12 months, because we can't all seem to get on the same page.
No, yeah, Chad, I definitely understand that. It's very important for the family, for every decision maker to be involved through this process. So is there any real estate in the estate that you're dealing with?
There is. Is that why you're calling?
Well, no, I just come across a lot of clients whose biggest challenge is the real estate side of things. So I like to see what the plan is there, and then we go forward with everything else.
Good recovery. So there is a house. It was, my mom and dad lived there for 45 years.
Wow.
it's everything, we haven't really done anything to it other than, we have cousin Larry is mowing the lawn and taking care of things, he says. I haven't been over there in 2 weeks.
Okay. Well, how about this? Sounds like I could really help you out here. Looks like I got an opening on my calendar this week for Monday at 2 o'clock or next week, Friday at 1 o'clock. Which one's better for you, Chad?
Well, like I said, Justin, my sister feels like she needs to get here and be part of this, and she hasn't committed to a date or bought a plane ticket or anything else. So you can, maybe just put me on a follow-up list, and whenever she can get here, we might be further down the road.
Well, Chad, does your sister have a phone? I don't have a problem with calling her while we sit down and go over some of the options that we can provide. Would she be able to receive a phone call and we can just talk to her virtually?
Well, of course she has a phone. I'm not sure what her schedule is. What time did you want to do it?
Well, I have an opening here Monday at 1 or Friday at 2. Which one's better for you?
Probably Friday. I know she's always flying on Monday mornings.
Okay, great. And it'll be best if we could just go ahead and at the property, and then I could just give her a call, and then we can go over some of the options. I know, first off, let's give your cousin Larry a break and maybe get somebody out there to mow the lawn. And of course, there's plenty much value that we can bring as well. So did have a few more questions. Did you have a minute to answer those?
Well, you've already blown my 2-minute rule, so I guess what's another 5?
All right, and let's break.
We'll break there. You go into the real estate. So, good job throwing the script in the trash. You sound much more like Justin this week or this month.
Good.
One of the things I want to point to, like your progression is good. You're saying most of the right things in the right order. One thing I want you to be aware of is you're not asking me enough personal. Hey Jim, if you're on a speaker, I think we've got a feedback loop, or Justin, one of the two. So one of the things you can do to improve is ask me a little more personal, emotional questions. So if you listen to the recording of this, you're going to find that there were periods, and I let you run just like last time, but there's periods where you're doing all of the talking. And that's not engagement. You start to lose me when I'm in that personal reps mindset. I'm like, So make sure that you are frequently engaging me by asking me questions. And I'm trying to point to an example. There's so many things I try to remember when we're doing this, but anyways, you'll see you'll hear some spots when you listen to the recording where you think, oh, I could have asked a question there before I moved on to the next thing.
Okay.
But you've certainly come a long ways. It's a lot more natural. I think that you just need to listen to it and focus on how you can get some more information by asking me kind of emotional questions or even reaffirming questions like, we find most people feel the same way you do, Chad, and it's because X, Y, or Z. And what they find out next is A, B, or C. Have you discovered that yet? And anything like that, you can just ask me a question. They don't always have to be open-ended, but just say, this is really stressful for most families. Are you feeling that too? Yeah, I am, Justin. Okay, well, listen, and then you transition to the next part. But you've broken up let's say maybe a 3-minute run of you talking. You break it up every minute or so even if it's just one of those affirming questions. You're keeping me engaged instead of letting me, check Facebook while you talk for 3 minutes. And it's just one of the tricks that I use to make sure they're listening to me. And it's, you're just you're keeping their attention, basically.
Okay.
So you'll oftentimes hear me say, is that fair? Does that make sense? Do you understand? Just kind of those affirmation questions like, does that make sense? Yeah. Okay. Well, cool. So the reason we do that, and then I'll roll right into the next part of the conversation, but when he quickly answers my question, I know he's listening. And if they don't, then I know I don't really have rapport. I don't have real engagement. I've got to do a little better job.
Another good one, Chad, is how does that sound? And all of
Yeah,
those,
right.
yeah, all of those are not only affirmations, but it's like permission to continue. And those are all really good ones. Justin, you've improved so much. I got your name wrong twice. I'm struggling with trying to figure out how to who's talking on this new interface, but much better than you did a couple weeks ago. So keep coming back. You're getting better all the time.
Thanks, will do, and appreciate the
All right. Appreciate it. We got two more in the queue. We should bring us right up to the top of the hour. Next up is phone number ending in 4049. You're up next.
Hi, can you hear me?
Hear you great.
Okay, great. My name is Olga. As you know, I'm with Douglas Elliman Real Estate here in Bayside, New York.
Yes, ma'am.
Our biggest challenge here is after we get information from the court system is that we can't get a hold of people. People don't pick up the phone. People don't answer. Doesn't matter what time of the day we call. Out of maybe 10 to 20 people, maybe one person would pick up, and then they are in the process of a probate, and sometimes it takes a while until the probate gets settled. I don't know how about everyone else, but here in New York it takes a very long time. I would say about 6 months or so on average. And I was just curious, how do you guys handle the situations differently? And if there is any effective mailers, because we have a lot of different mailing systems and pieces that we use. We're starting off with, please accept our condolences, and it's like a beautiful postcard with nice flowers and describes of who we are and what we do. Then we follow up later on with a couple of weeks like another letter, and that shows that we are the experts. But I was just curious to hear everybody's maybe advice or tips on such situations.
Olga, are you a subscriber to All the Leads?
Not an active subscriber. It's actually, you guys are sending me a lot of emails. So I'm very new to this. As far as even calling today, it's my first time. So I do see that you guys are very active in probate world. My partner has joined you guys previously before, but for me, it's the first time. So that's why I need to get to know a little bit more and better.
So there's a lot of things to talk about here. One, like the biggest challenge any of us have and today is people get hammered on the phones because of robo-dialing, and contact rates are dropping. And in my career, it's never been harder to get somebody to answer the phone. That said, it's all about follow-up. It's all about frequency. And if you're pretty new to us, you may not have seen it, but if you go to alltheleads.com in the top right in the search bar, type in case study. And the last case study, I believe it was the last one we published, was from David Pinnell. And David is the extreme example of a very aggressive follow-up campaign. So they're calling every day for the first 7 days at alternating times. And they are, he'll do probably over 100 transactions in the calendar year this year as somebody who just got started in this, and well over $1 million in revenue. So that's something I can point you to. We talk, and David and I in that interview, we talk about his campaign and what that looks like. But what he's finding, we know that 83% of sales happen between marketing touch 7 and 12. But what we're finding is that number is climbing. Like we're finding that sometimes it's the 20th time you attempt. Mm-hmm. And we released a tips from the trainer video last week or 2 weeks ago that talks about voicemail, what voicemail script you should use, what frequency you should, how often should you leave them. If you're calling every day, you don't want to be leaving voicemail every day. But you may have to be more aggressive in your call frequency and alternate times to get the contact rates. The next thing I want to address is this is based on my experience and my personal values. I don't believe as a business person you have any business offering condolences if you didn't know the deceased. And for me personally, that would trigger me, and you would have no credibility with me. And I know that a lot of personal representatives share that opinion. So I encourage you to get that out of your letters. The key is to be empathetic, not sympathetic. You don't have to, share in their grief. This is, You are a business with a service built to help lower their stress level. You're not there to, to offer support like a family member would or should. So you may be turning people off by offering condolences when they don't know who you are. It doesn't seem sincere to a lot of folks. And I know there are people that disagree with me on this, but I would challenge you to at least test that and see. As far as the letters you're sending, it's hard not seeing your letter. The letters we use are proven in all 50 states. They have produced, or they wouldn't be there. So we have, letters that basically follow everything you hear on these calls, what we teach. It's a broad scope of service. You focus on people and situation, and then very quickly find a segue into the real estate part of the conversation. And the reason we do that is because we have competition. And when we have a window to engage with somebody, we want them to we want to sound as different as possible. So when you signed on to this call today, you gave us a title that was a mouthful. You gave us the name of your brokerage and your title and everything. And take that away, just be Olga. So, hi, this is Olga. I sent you a letter, a postcard or a letter last week. I just wanted to follow up and make sure you got that and you understand what we can do to help you. Have you got 5 minutes? Mm-hmm. And then get some engagement. They don't need to know who your broker is or that you're in real estate. Honestly, you want to hold that back in the conversation until you've got engagement and rapport. Then they won't flinch as badly when they find out you're going to make money on helping them sell real estate.
Olga, I was just going to add, I'll echo what Chad said. When I first had this idea 6 years ago, I used to start with, "I'm sorry for your loss." And I had a guy one time say, "Don't be, dying was the best thing that SOB ever did." And I sort of laughed and I said, "Well, then congratulations." And fortunately, this guy had a sense of humor, but it made me rethink that, because a better way to put it in the letter and in person is acknowledge their loss. Say, "This is Olga. I'm sure this is a difficult time for the family, and that's why I do what I do." Show empathy, acknowledge their loss, but sympathy can come across as being phony if you didn't really know them. So that it's a very subtle difference, and your intentions are the same, but it's just better perceived if you do it differently.
Thank you, guys. That's very helpful. But who would I be able to speak to get to learn and understand a little bit more about this whole entire program and what you guys offer and how much it is?
Sure.
And
Olga, I'll have one of our salespeople right after this call give you a call at the 4049 number. Is that the best number?
Yes.
Someone will call you right after this call. It'll either be Darcy, Jordan, or Natalie.
Very good, very good. Now, since I have myself on call, I was just curious. Is it a membership involved, or is it
monthly?
Who are you guys?
It's a monthly subscription. We are alltheleads.com. The four founders have about 100 years experience in real estate between us. So it's just a company started by four realtors, investors, and a very astute tech guy. And we've been doing it about 6 years. We've got a great reputation. We've got a ton of subscribers and investors across the country. So, our story is kind of on our website, but I'll have somebody call you back personally and walk you through the whole program.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. We have 2 more in the queue. That should take us nicely up to the top of the hour. Next up is phone number ending in 8890. You're up next.
Hello, everybody.
Hello there.
Oh my gosh! Really?
Hi, this is CeCe.
How many personalities do you have today?
Well, I actually just have a question today. I didn't come to entertain.
How can we
Chad,
help you?
Before you start, CeCe, for people that don't get the joke, last month, CeCe called in and she played 2 different executors, 2 different family members with different voices, and we gave her
one was male and one was female.
Yeah, we gave her an Academy Award for the performance. So go ahead, CeCe.
Okay, well, my question is, I have this. It's more of an inherited property because I guess they went through probate a long time ago. But I talked with the wife of the, I guess the inherited person property. and she's all for, selling the property and everything, but her husband, I can't even get him on the phone. Like it's like he's scared of, just getting rid of the property. He's emotionally attached to it. So, and then I have his wife, she's constantly saying, just give him a call, so I feel obligated to to make it happen. What would be your advice? Because even in her situation, she's disabled, and the property is more of a, just a weight, and they need, money, and I think he's getting ready to retire as well, so that may be a moving factor for him.
So is the property vacant, CeCe?
Yes, it's been vacant for 3 years.
Okay, and is it in the same town?
Yes.
Okay, and are they the ones maintaining it?
Well, and see, that's the thing. They don't even maintain it. It's been, it's pretty rough,
Okay. So this is an extended case of what we call probate quicksand. So the gentleman who inherited this house, he knows what he needs to do, but it holds so much sentimental value that he's procrastinating. And my father is the same type of person. It took almost 10 years. Well, actually, it's been 25 years, and most of my grandmother's belongings are still in the attic of her house, which will never be sold. And he just never has gotten himself to a point where he's comfortable to do that. Now, I'm not going to play that game with my own father, but with clients, it's where it's not a family relationship. What I want to show them is what the expense that they're incurring. And in my family, it's on a family farm, so we wouldn't, nobody will sell that. But what you have to focus on is getting him to look at the light. So you need him to understand he's losing X number of dollars in property tax and property insurance, or if it's sitting there uninsured, he's risking X number of dollars in equity. If they're not even maintaining it, chances are they're not paying insurance on it, but they could be. But find out one of the ways you can do this is show them the expense, show them what they're costing them, how much money it's costing him to do nothing. Inaction isn't free, and he can he can be paid for action, and he's paying for inaction. And if you can if you can help him come around to that realization and say, and you've got to do this with a light touch, because chances are he is caught in that quicksand because of the sentimental value. But show him what the market value is. Show him what he could have invested, taking advantage of, and adding to his retirement, and show him how that's losing value every day. A property that's not being maintained, he's losing money on the carrying costs, but he's also losing money on deferred maintenance every day. And if you can get that down, you may even break it down like a really effective way to break it down to a daily dollar amount. So if, let's just say the expenses are, $300 a month. So, tell me, Mr. Smith, do you think it's a lot? Would it be rational or logical to wake up every morning and flush a $10 bill down the toilet? So you realize that's what you've been doing for the last 4 years, though, right? And if I could show you how to, get the equity out of that home and actually grow your parents' legacy, do you think that would be better than letting it slowly deteriorate? How's Friday at 3? And go for the appointment. But you need to get him to look into the light and realize, damn it, I know I need to do this. Now's the time. And he's looking for leadership. And you got to get him on the phone first. You might need the wife's help with that.
I was going to say, I can't get him on the phone.
But you may set an appointment with his wife at their home. Instead of meeting at the subject property, ask for her permission if you could come and meet at the house sometime next week. And could you please talk to him about that this evening and get back to me in the morning, or I'll call you in the morning to see. And you may have to, this one might need a little more finesse, you may have to meet with them in their home and talk to them there, and then leave a buffer of maybe an hour And while you're at their home, say, you know what, listen, let's ride over there right now. I left my schedule open in case we wanted to do that. So, is it okay if we just ride over there now and take a look? And you can probably turn that appointment into a property tour, and and your end game is to make them an offer.
Okay.
Is your end game to make an offer?
Yes.
Okay, so if that all fails and you can't get contact, if you can't get an appointment, the other thing I would do, you know what your offer would be, roughly?
It would be lower because she was saying that she wanted like $40,000 for it, but the property isn't worth that much, I believe, for the area. But I think not just because the area is like an older neighborhood, but it's not so much the area, it's more the work that needs to be done to the property.
Okay, fair enough. In the interest of time, I'm going to move forward. So let's just leave the dollar amount out of it. In this case, if you have to close a price gap, you don't want to use numbers on the phone or in what I'm going to suggest. A trick that you can use, and you need to be able to back this up and understand they might be offended, but you can sit down and write a letter of intent to purchase or use a purchase and sale agreement and put a handwritten letter in with it or a Post-it note. Use the tax card, fill in all the tax information, all the property information that you have, and then leave the price blank. And you could even highlight the blank and put a Post-it note there that says, I spoke to your wife. I left you 3 voicemails. I would like to take this house off your hands and help you, make money instead of losing money. Please call me at, and send him the damn purchase agreement to start the conversation. If he just won't listen, if you just can't get through, put the offer in the mail and put a closing date on it, and put something like in additional terms, put asterisk any other things that seller would like to see in this agreement, and you'll use a fresh agreement when you get there, but it's going to get his attention. Chances are nobody has done that. He hasn't received, people call and throw verbal offers around, but you're putting an offer in the mail. And you say, I need to see the house before I can fill in the price. Can can we talk? And so I would maybe try the first approach where you can talk to his wife and see if you can meet at the house. And if that fails, then drop a letter of intent or purchase agreement in the mail with a handwritten note. And I bet you'll get a phone call.
Perfect. I believe it'll work because I've built rapport with the wife. I basically know all about the family, So, I'll try that first, try to reach out and have a meeting. Then, like you said, just send it in the mail if that fails.
Perfect.
And
I know investors...
One more thing before... You should go, figure out what the taxes are and what the insurance would be, and you'll have to guess at that, but just... get it, base your insurance quote on the assessed value or the replacement, use the assessed value. That'll give you a high number. But where I'm going with this is you need to know how much he's lost over a 4-year period. So when you're trying to close that price gap, you can say, listen, based on my best estimates, it looks like you've paid $5,000 for this house to sit here. And because it's not being properly maintained, you've probably lost $20,000 in equity. So is it better to wait another 4 years and lose another $25,000, or is it better to put this money into play where it can actually serve you and your wife and your late period of life? And you might have to hit him with hard facts like that. So just because you have to close the price gap, so prepare yourself, to show him how he is losing money. He's losing money by not selling, and hopefully that'll help you close the gap.
Perfect.
You,
Yeah, I was just going to add, CeCe, my wife has a short sale company. She's done a couple thousand of them, and there's an investor years ago that did exactly what Chad said. Every short sale that went on the market, she'd get an offer from the guy, and she finally just called him and said, why don't we talk? And he became one of her best. He became one of her best investors. He doesn't need to send it anymore. Whenever she gets a good deal, she reaches out to him first. So that is effective. It's especially for people that are visual. You put something in front of them in black and white, that can make a big difference. So Keep coming back, CeCe. I know with your energy and enthusiasm, when you start getting in front of people, you're going to do very well with this. So thank you for participating.
Thank you. Thank y'all.
You're very welcome, guys. And perfect timing. We are exactly 1 hour into the call. I want to close like I always do. I want to thank each and every one of you for attending today. Great attendance. I want to thank those that actively participated, and I want to challenge each and every one of you. Take one thought, one idea, one thing that inspired you on this call, go out and put it into practice, and come back the first Wednesday of every month and share with the group. But more soon, come back tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern and be part of our weekly role play call. Thank you so much, guys. Make it a great week, and we will talk to you soon. Take care.